Today in the crypto space, we see the market continuing some sideways price action. Bitcoin right around 95,000, Ethereum still around that $1,800 mark, and the rest of the crypto space, the altcoins have mixed of green and red, a lot of indecision, a lot of uncertainty currently in the charts. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to talk about Bitcoin, and I want to focus on Bitcoin because ultimately Bitcoin at the current moment could be that indicator for continuation to the upside or a bit of a dip to lower levels. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins. Looking for opportunity, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with this market. I know a lot of us are worried given the fact that Bitcoin has run up and currently Bitcoin is hesitating. You know, this hesitation leaves us a little bit of uncertain and leaves us a little bit afraid that we could roll over, it could come down for a dip, could get that correction, could, all a game of probability, obviously. And today we'll discuss what are the probabilities, what are the setups, what are the scenarios that could happen here. Obviously, up, down, bearish, or bullish, it doesn't matter. But ultimately, guys, we have to really understand what is happening with this market currently. And we can see that the total market cap is very sideways. So right around $3 trillion, not much happening here. Trading volume did come down significantly, as you can see, in a bit of a downtrend leading from the weekend, and maybe we might get a reversal, maybe we may not. As you can see, it's possible, but at the current moment we're still somewhat in a downtrend with regards to trading volume, so we are not getting much market participation. But at the same time, we are seeing some projects quite active, some randoms, especially within the AI narrative. We have virtuals doing pretty good, but as you can see, Bitcoin and Ethereum sideways. Pure sideways price action. Now, on lower time frames, that's the issue. The lower time frames right now is the bigger problem. Like the 1 hour, maybe the 4 hour, but really it's the 1 hour, the 15 minute that is giving us that short-term volatility within the chop zone. And we'll talk about the chop zone. And you guys know that I don't like trading the chop zone because of the sideways whipsaw price action that gets everybody wrecked, and it's very, very difficult to trade and time consuming and stressful. And you have to decide whether that's your cup of tea or not. For me, it's not. I rather see what happens once we start, breaking trends and obviously choosing a direction. Because as we're in the chop zone, things get a little difficult. And as you can see, Bitcoin and Ethereum both have been going sideways for a good while without any major volatility. We have XRP, doing its thing, BNB, Solana. Look at the market, guys. The market right now is fairly sideways, right? You can see maybe some people are thinking maybe Bart Simpson retracement. That's very possible. Run up, sideways, run back down. It could happen, guys. But until we start seeing signs of the structure of this price action actually change to the downside, meaning make an aggressive lower low and a confirmation high, which is a lower high, guys, market structure is totally fine right now. Now, I understand the divergences and all the rest is still there, and of course it's very evident that there is a bit of weakness on those lower time frames, but without follow through, guys, we could neutralize all that negativity and continue going sideways. And keep it in mind, that is how bull flags are formed. Okay, an exchange of hands where the supply doesn't overwhelm the demand. In fact, demand outperforms or at least absorbs all the supply for that quick profit-taking scenario, exchange of hands. We go sideways, we flag out, and continue to the upside. So the question is, are the bears done taking profit? Are the short-term individuals that are here for quick trades, are they done? And it could be any moment now we see this structure finally gets to its maturity level and we start moving to the upside. And you can see a lot of these altcoins are pretty much in that same boat, kind of going sideways, a quick exchange of hands, perhaps for a continuation to the upside. And the only way we're going to know is to let these charts actually kind of like breathe a little bit, right? We can't overtrade. This is where overtrading gets you wrecked. The chop zone gets you wrecked if you overtrade. So this is where we're at right now. Hyperliquid kind of going sideways, a bit of a downtrend. Right, we have others still going sideways, tons of others, right? We have Aptos going sideways in the last little bit, still up 2.1%. We have Near Protocol up 2% sideways, Tau sideways, but up 5.6%. You know, generally speaking, the market's okay today, but still very sideways. Why? Because I am focusing on market structure, not necessarily percentages, because we could be up right now based on the range, but then, you know, maybe in 10, 20 minutes, we could be down based on the bottom of the range, right? So what we really want to do is break the range either to the upside or to the downside, and then we make some critical decisions as to which way we're going to be going, because ultimately right now it just looks like any little dips or any little movement to the downside might be short-lived. The bears are not showing that much strength just yet, so we're still okay. We're smoking fat bowls of opium at this current moment for a continuation to the upside. All right, guys, let's just continue. Let's take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin, because I know you're talking about charts. So let's begin. Let's see what's going on here. Bitcoin, at the end of the day, is still holding up. Okay, so we can get bearish if we like, but at the end of the day, actionable bearish price action hasn't presented itself. We have indications based on obviously a lot of indicators. We have momentum and trend oscillators telling us certain things, but at the end of the day, we're not getting any signal that we should be super bearish here. Defensive, yes. Defensive is one thing, but bearish, not so much. Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. So what I'm interested in, of course, we can talk about the bearish scenario too, because I'm noticing that a lot of individuals on socials are talking about this bearish scenario, that Bitcoin already did great and Bitcoin already ran up. So, taking chance right here is risky. Guys, that's a typical thesis of my own as well. When you see when the price runs up like that, you definitely want to continue thinking that maybe we fill in some, imbalance or a volume gap below, which you can clearly see right into this level. There is that opportunity to see the price roll over and come back to about 88,000. And I'm okay with that. I'm prepared. I have a plan. The plan is to either short or stop myself out on some trades that I have. And that's totally fine, because I am at good risk to reward ratio opportunities. If we pump, I am happy. If we roll over, no big deal. I take a small loss because I've been in some massive gains lately. So I'm going to sacrifice a little bit of them in order to keep myself exposed to the market. Not necessarily exposed to the particular assets or coins or tokens that I've been involved with from the beginning of this rally to the upside, but some of them I had to rotate into better risk to reward ratio opportunities, buying bottoms with a clear invalidation, very nice and tight, and that keeps my risk at bay while still maintaining that exposure to the upside. So for example, at this current moment, if we do roll over, I want to get stopped out on any project, and Bitcoin at the current moment on the daily doesn't have much structure to give you that thesis at all. The reality is it's still bullish. This could be interpreted as a bull flag. Okay, so the bearish scenario, let's stick with that. Before I get into the bullish case, the daily is still bullish. There's nothing wrong with the daily at the current moment other than volatility. We have to drop maybe to the 4-hour to find a bearish scenario. And as you can see, we're making slightly higher highs here. We didn't make a higher high here. Okay, so double top, that's a bearish sign that we could eventually roll over, coupled with the divergence stemming from this level right here. We got a high, we made a higher high on the price action, a lower high on the momentum, and now we're getting a bit of follow through to the downside because we did not make a higher high. What would confirm the follow through would be a lower low, and of course must be a lower high. If we get a lower high, guys, we're definitely in a follow through state here in the 4-hour, and we could definitely get oversold. Now, we could also get some support on the chop zone. We could also go for another drive of bullish divergence. There's a lot happening here. We shouldn't really be trading oscillators. This is a very common thing for a lot of new traders that come in. They see divergence, they get in. They see a bit of a pattern, they get in. And this is where market makers have a field day, because literally those common indications without confluence and other strategy leaves you open to that manipulation, right? If you think about it, divergence, market makers are going to say, you know what, let's get them induced, let's get them going bullish again, and then we'll trap them up here and then fall. It's very possible, guys. So if we do breakout, if we don't get volume, if we break out and we do not structure out above, guys, I'll be happy to get into shorts. But at the current moment, we broke out and we are going higher highs and higher lows. What can I say? If we went sideways, it's a different story. So at this current moment, the bearish case is that we need a market structure pivot point up here. We need to see something that suggests lower lows and lower highs. The double top is good. It's just not enough for me to start exiting great positions and entries that I've battled for at these lower levels that are in profit. So this is not really the point. Now, if you're fresh, you're coming in with fresh capital at the current moment, I understand the reservation. You should hypothetically prepare for two cases scenarios. Number one, that we go sideways and then eventually flag to the upside. And number two, that we retrace back down to about 88,500. I would have some buy orders prepared in that level just in case. Bart Simpson retracement can be very, very possible here, okay, on the 4 hour. Now, if you get on the 1 hour, you can also see that we have a lot of volatility here today. Crazy amount of chop zone volatility. Stuck in the chop zone quite a bit here, which I don't like. Whipsaw price action, straight down, straight up, longs and shorts got wrecked today. And if you've been trading this market, the only way you're going to be able to do that successfully is to be a ninja. You got to get in and you got to get out. This is not the time to take risks because really the daily still in control. To the upside. We're not completely overbought. There's still a little bit of upside there, and I'm worried that we continue up. So I don't want to exit my positions, but at the same time, we're getting the 4 hour and the 1 hour showing us a potential retracement. So this is a tough scenario, guys. When you get conflicting, time frames like this, and keeping in mind that larger time frames are the most dominant time frames, or basically they dominate over lower time frames. We have to keep in mind that that's the case at the current moment. So I am not going to be getting into something that I'm going to regret. So I'd rather sit on my hands and stay neutral, but bullish with my bullish entries. At the current moment, we see lots of volatility. We see the volatility line, which is the orange line, going up and down all day long. Bearish responses did not make lower lows. Okay, this just keep in mind. Bullish responses did make a higher low, at least right into here, and came up above this as well. So even the bearish response to the downside did not make a lower low. So what are we seeing here, guys? I am not seeing anything. To be honest, it's not actionable for me. If we started breaking structure with clear lower lows and lower highs, then I would be a lot better, or a lot more concerned, or a lot more willing to hedge against my long positions at the current moment, or at least figure out how to defend myself a little bit better. Personally, I think that we should all be at a level where we've taken profits and we have stop losses to protect ourselves. But the 1 hour, the only way I will get bearish if we start breaking below this bottom, and then ultimately this bottom right here. Okay, this horizontal line is something that I'm keeping an eye on. Just keep in mind also, we have the 200 EMA here on the 1 hour chart. We have that volume gap that can allow us to fall, and that is the bearish case scenario. Okay, the volatility is definitely crazy here in the chop zone, so I'm not trading this whatsoever. Now, if you look at it, okay, that's a good little dip. What's going to happen to the altcoins? They'll definitely feel the pain. They'll definitely, risk on assets will feel the heat. They will definitely retrace, and then what we have to decide is whether we're going to be buying the dip for continuation to the upside after this event, right? So this is the case. Now, what about the bullish case? The bullish case is that all we're doing is allowing people to take profit. And this is a profit-taking zone. I identified this profit-taking zone really early with that red arrow. We understood that this was the level. Guys, I took profits on my margin positions because I wasn't willing to hold them throughout this level. So I sold my margin positions and reopened others that haven't expanded yet. So ones that have expanded, like Tau, already did very well. Why would I be holding Tau after it ran up? Even if it continues, all good. No worries. Spot is in. Everything else is I'm exposed via spot, and very happy. But from a trading perspective, I rather look for projects that haven't left the station where I can put a nice stop loss underneath, right? So that's the logic. Now, if people are going to be taking profits off of Bitcoin because of this move to the upside, how much supply is going to be entering the market based on those that influence on the market? It has to be responded by some absorption. Are people buying the sell pressure? And as of now, as of today, as of this daily candle, we can see that both bears and bulls are pretty much responding to everything quite equally, and we're going sideways. So which means that until we get evidence that the bears are outperforming the bulls in the sense that the sell pressure is way too hot or way too much, and they cannot be those tokens cannot be absorbed, or those coins, ultimately then we can think that maybe we're going to roll over. But in the meantime, an exchange of hands here for a continuation to the upside is definitely possible. And the reason why I'm saying that is not just market structure, because it definitely looks like a flag or continuation. There's no real reason why this can't continue, right? Is the fact that we didn't really get overbought. Okay, and momentum, yes, it's hanging out here for a little bit too long for my liking, but the green excuse me, guys, the green expansion is definitely here. So that green expansion right there keeps me, a little bit interested. Now, I'm not going all in. I'm not betting the farm. I'm not getting into fresh entries that don't have good risk to reward ratios where I can put stop losses underneath to defend my initial investments. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying right now is if you have a long position and you're up and you have a clear level of invalidation, put that stop loss there, guys, because we could continue. You want to have that exposure, but at the same time, if we roll over, just be prepared for that dip and protect yourself. So it's all about mindset and exactly the psychology of what this represents. For me, it's nothing that I should be shaken out of at the current moment. Okay, so that's that. We're overbought a little bit. We could get a more overbought. I always reflect on things like this. Look, we impulse up like crazy. And I shared this with you guys before the last impulse. We have breaks in between, guys. We have breaks in between. Look at this. That looks very similar what's been happening in the last few days. And then we went up for another move, and look what happened here. You know how many people got shaken out here on all of this? And then guess what? The market continues, and look how overbought we are. Crazy overbought. So the last thing I want to do is fight for entries at bottom levels and exit off a little bit of a shakeout when I can get a little bit more of an extension, especially with those laggers that haven't really left the station. I'm going to be able to get that full expansion and that full extension potentially to higher highs depending on the chart. Okay, so this is why in the last little while I've been very neutral / bullish. Now again, if you go on the 6 hour, what does this look like to you guys? Nothing. This is nothing. Yes, divergence. If anything, you're going to look at this, you're going to see a bit of divergence. Volatility pushes to the upside. Let's see what the 6 hour does. Maybe we go for a higher high, maybe we don't, but ultimately the invalidation of a bullish thesis is right around 92,000 more or less. If we break below that, we start coming down to 88,500. That's the setup, that's the scenario. If not, continuation to the upside. And for me, it's the next level of liquidity, which would be right around the $100,000. That what I would like to see this emotional level be tagged and see how the market responds. And then from there, guys, we don't know where we're going. Guys, we could definitely continue to the upside after this. We've seen bullish impulses and what they result into, and I definitely don't want to be shaken off the first consolidation after the first impulsive move that broke the previous highs at a good level at the bottom. Guys, this is not the time to get completely shaken out. Okay, so have a plan to redistribute your gains, have a plan to buy the dip, have a plan that's fine, but also have that plan to continue expecting an impulse, because it could definitely happen in the next little while. All right, guys, so neutral bullish is definitely the stance for me here at the moment. And if you look at the trend oscillator, doing pretty good as well in the bullish control zone. And then we start to ask ourselves, well, is this dip over? Right? Is this dip over? We had one before. All good. Then we move up. Is this dip over? All good. Maybe we get some green histogram bars. Maybe we go for another expansion to the upside. Guys, we've been waiting for the bullish responses, the bullish sentiment, and maybe this is the moment. So don't get shaken out. All right, guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.